All right, part 2, YouTube. Didn't want to have a 2-part, but the video's getting so long. So, it's really kind of funny because this one's catching on something back there, so is the other one, but it's nothing like you have to really worry about. And again, at some point in time, I'll put a deal on here to hold the caps. See, that one stayed inside, so these right here just catching on something. And I'm sure bouncing down the highway a little bit, it'll change them. And I will probably end up putting a pair of pliers for these. I have a cheap pair on my work truck that would work just fine on these. Now, who's going to ask it? What about the fittings that go on the end of those? Well, I'm glad you asked. Now, I think I'm just going to throw that in the camper and take up more room. Absolutely not. Oh, that was dumb. Now, ooh, I hate spiders. Why they think they can just invade. So what are we going to do with this thing? Well, if you don't have a camper like mine, you can just screw it right to the frame here. Now, I didn't forget about this right here with those broken. I'm going to fix them here in a minute. So what am I going to do? Well, now you're going to ask how I'm going to do this. Easy. Have a piece of angle iron. Cut it in half. Well, measure it. Zeus on this side of it, so level. Zeus on this side of it, level. I'll have holes drilled in it. Drill holes in the box, and we're mounted right there. And it won't affect the sliding in and out of the actual camper. Now, the truth is, back here, there's a pretty good possibility I could just drill through it and bolt it, because it stops here. But I think we'd be better off to go ahead and just weld the angle iron on and bolt this directly up there. Now, the only reason I'm doing it this way is because it'll work just fine. It'll be out of the way. Now, I could move it up here and do it right here, but I think it'd be better right here. It'll be low. It'll be up far enough that it shouldn't grab on anything. And if we have a blowout, that tire will bang up in here, but not on here. So that's my reasoning for it. Before I go in here and start Zeusing everything, I've got some screws I need to, spend some attention on real fast. And I'm gonna do that now. But I'm not gonna record. I'll record, before we weld it on here, just so you can see what I'm talking about. But I'm not going to record everything, because the last video turned out to be 48 minutes long. And most of y'all don't even watch my 10-minute videos. So, but that's where we are. Let's get this started. All right, YouTube, so here's so far what we got. These aren't exactly the same size. They're just a little off. But the 3 holes are going to be, so I can weld. I'm going to weld through that onto the frame. So I'll Zeus it here, Zeus it here, Zeus it here, and then weld it. And the 2 holes are what will bolt into the tool or the ammo box. So we got this much. Give me a minute. I'm gonna go clean the frame on the camper and get them all lined up. And just in case if you're wondering how we're gonna get them lined up as best we can, I have married an awesome wife, and she has let me buy these. That should be more than enough to magnetize them up there and keep them straight. So let me get everything sanded down and set up and everything. We'll bring you back and show you what we're looking at. All right, YouTube. So we got them both welded on there. And don't ask me to show my work because it's not high school, and I've already mentioned several times I'm not a welder. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna use the jack, set that up against it, get it where I want it, take the marker here, mark the holes, drill the holes, put the bolts in there, tighten it up there, and we're done. And I know, when I come back over here, I'm gonna bring the washers. I swear to you, it'll be fixed. I promise you. And there we have it, YouTube. Now remember, if you're gonna put one of these in your camper, these lids are designed to come off, so you want to make sure that you have it sitting to where it won't. Just close it, latch it. Everything is now secure. This thing is bolted on, it's welded, bolted, she's good. So that's the end of it. So we have the tubes on the front, this box here in the back. You know, maybe in the future I may add another box, or I may get a bigger box, but for right now, I think we're done. So whenever we use those, we have the fittings here, which I may actually change those fittings out because I can't think of any reason not to have a regular sitting fitting on it when you can just have the coupler. Why not just have the coupler and then you have less inside that little box? But it's all we have for today. So we'll see y'all. Thank y'all for tuning in.